in a broken wasteland. Come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre. Oh.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson. I am your host, and holy hell, it is awesome to see you all this week. I am just going through the motions here, just doing some crazy shit here in the Metal Forge room itself, moving some things around, putting the new monitor up on the wall, doing the awesome stuff, doing some renovations. So as I'm going forward, I'm going to be doing a little bit more video episodes. Anyway, stop. Hang on. Let's think. Today, Dr. Ross Sewage from Exhumed is here in the Metal Forge, and we are talking about all things Exhumed. We talk a few other things as well, like he's friends with Castrator from Ghoul, so we might get to talk a little Ghoul in there as well. Holy shit, awesome stuff. Super rad individual to have on the show. And I know I say that all the time, but like, Ross is really fucking rad. If you follow their Twitter, it is just completely batshit awesome. And yeah, super rad person to follow. Give them a like, share, and follow wherever you go. But yeah, so doing some things different here in the Metal Forge. I've got the monitor across the way now. I've got a little bit of a different camera angle going. I've got this up now, which is cool. This is the banner that I've had for the last 5 or 6 years. I figure I would just throw it here. And in that same turn, I put the Ride the Lightning up on the ceiling behind me. So yeah, or above me rather. Cool things. I got a little Skeletor with no legs on the mic stand now. We're just doing all kinds of stuff, doing everything that we can to try and get it the best episodes out there for you as listeners, as watchers, as everything else. So hell yeah. So are you all into Exhumed? Because I used to not be, and then all of a sudden I got into Exhumed, and you know, totally cool, fucking awesome band. Sorry, when I look up at the screen, you know, I'm looking up now, which you might notice that on some of the episodes. You might catch me watching the video here rather than on the phone when I'm doing the recordings and such. But I'll try to do my best to look you all in the eyes as I am talking and everything as much as I always did before. So anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to go back to the very beginning because they still play so much off of this album live. Fucking, this is from Exhumed's fucking gore metal album. So awesome. October of 1998 it takes us back to with that. This is Casket Crusher. All right, metalheads, today it's fucking awesome because we have Dr. Ross Sewage from Exhumed here. And holy shit, dude, what's going on?
Hey, thanks. I want to thank you for using my proper honorific. A lot of people forget with Exhumed that there's more than one doctor in the band. Everyone just thinks about Dr. Filthy. They forget I went to 8 years of fake medical school.
Hey, I am totally down with that. And I am. So we were talking just a few minutes ago about toys, and I usually get off on the, hey, how's things out where you're at? And hey, it's a fucking stupid ass political climate, so it's the fucking same everywhere. We're all pent up, we're all fucking pissed off, and
we're all nervous as shit.
And yes, and we're all nervous as fucking shit. And it's just like, I just want to fucking make metal, do a fucking podcast, and leave fucking people alone. I can't understand why everybody else is...
That would be the whole of my political ideology was, I think it would be do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law or such. Like, yeah, I've got a very laissez-faire, libertarian, at least in the original sense of the word, kind of idea. It's like, hey, whatever you do in your own fucking home isn't anybody else's fucking business. And,
exactly.
Also, we got to take care of the earth. So that's a bit of a problem we got to sort out. We'll get there, I hope.
Well, I just recently heard an interview with Willie Nelson, and it was one of those Reels interviews where it's just like a response to a question. And he said, when I was young, my mom told, and keeping in mind how old he is, he goes, when I was young, my mom used to tell me, he's like, every 100 years there's new people. So this is just the people in our 100 years,
Absolutely.
And I kind of took that and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, we might be fucking bitching about fucking Biden's age and Donald Trump being a fucking crazy motherfucker and all of this other shit. And who gives a fuck, It's like, hey, we're all fucking here for a finite time. Just fucking be cool with each other.
We're trying to have fun and have a good time. I don't know. I'm not sure your age. I'm pushing 50. I don't understand these old politicians still giving a fuck when they could just retire to their Lake Tahoe home.
Right.
Or whatever. They get I'm out of the conversation now. Pop culture media is not made for me anymore. Sometimes I can enjoy it, sometimes I won't, but I'm not going to go online and bitch about it not liking the new Star Wars or whatever, even though I did like the new Star Wars thing they just put out. But it's not made for me. It's made for younger people. That's fine. I'm just going to keep coasting and having fun. And if people want to come see my band still, that's great.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, At least to me, that's like, that one meaning of life kind of thing. And to answer what you'd ask, I'm in my early 40s. I'm 41.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just about to really feel that pop culture doesn't give a fuck about you.
Oh no, I've felt that ever since.
You're feeling it already.
I've felt that ever since people started saying crunk.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you've been feeling it a while, and clearly you've got Masters of the Universe action figures in the background in your.
I do.
So yeah, you're at least they're still making something for the old guys who grew up with television as a babysitter. So
yes, for real, and totally was in that. I had 2 older siblings, and I kind of inherited the Masters of the Universe thing from my brother. That and the G.I. Joe deal, so because he just turned 50.
Okay, so yeah, me and your brother should hang out. We can really talk shit about buying that shit off the shelves. We'll talk toys. It's fine.
Yeah, totally.
That's the thing. I do we can get into politics. I go out on the road. I definitely probably meet people of very varying political bents from kind of where I sit way more to the fucking left than any political party sits in the fucking current.
And that's the melting pot of metal.
But I play right. We play, I play for, there's a certain level, obviously. I don't need skinheads or racists or total shitheads, but when someone's just I don't know, they don't really get it. They're not tuned in and they're supporting something I think is wrong. That sucks. I'll try to steer, but I'm not at the end of the day, we're going to play a show and you better just enjoy the show. And and appreciate everyone else who's at that show if they don't agree with you. Like, we can put that to bed for a little bit.
Sure.
But obviously Trump's an insane racist maniac, so you should not support that fucking Mein Kampf reading motherfucker.
I agree. So yeah.
I know the wool can be pulled in front of people's eyes, and I just try to show up as my weird queer leftist self and just be like, well, hey, listen to me do gurgly growls that you enjoy so much. Maybe you'll think differently about the kind of people I represent later. We'll have fun.
For sure. So yeah, we were talking just, about the toys and being made for, the now what they call adult collector
yes,
market.
They most definitely are.
And it's totally cool because, yeah, they did like a Masters of the Universe run like 20 years ago. And
I remember
Sears had it.
Yeah, it wasn't the Four Horsemen were fucking sculpting those, and they looked incredible.
This was before that. This was where they released them in the original molds. And then when they went to the classics line is when the Four Horsemen sculpted. And it was insane. And now they've got, they're partnered with Mondo. And those figures, where they're like a $250 price point, but they've got like real leather and real like die-cast weapons and so many display options.
You're not buying those for your 8-year-old.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. So I see up in the top up here, is that a original like Ultraman style thing?
That is a more recently produced I think it went on sale in 2019. I didn't get it till like 2021. That is Unicron, the Deathbringer,
awesome.
Or the Chaos Bringer. That was my reward to myself after running a successful Kickstarter producing the Ghoul comic book. They put it on sale right around then. My Kickstarter finished up. It did very well. I was very happy, and my one real indulgence was buying a stupid transformer that sits about 2.5 feet tall.
Dude, there is nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, it's the little things in life. Dude, I did that with a Rorschach quarter scale bust. It was just like, hey, I need to do something nice for myself. I quit fucking smoking in like however many years ago at this point. And it's like, that sounds like something that I could really, put that money towards that.
And with smoking, you're literally putting the money you would have been smoking into a cool bust from a great comic book.
Absolutely.
So I can applaud that. And but I am a kind of a pretty avid toy collector, mostly focused on like I ended up mostly focusing on G.I. Joe, but I dabble in Transformers occasionally, and I do like original Kenner Star Wars because that's the shit that I actually grew up on.
Sure.
So
now, when you say actual
I saw Star Wars in the theater when it was the first run. So
no, well, yeah, absolutely. And that's, that's awesome. And I was born when Jedi came out. So
there you go. So yeah, our generations will never get along. You liked Return of the Jedi.
I don't necessarily care for the Ewok parts, but the space battle is fucking second to none.
Well, the Ewoks, I mean, that's pretty metal right there. They're not people call them cannibals, but they're not cannibals. They don't eat other Ewoks.
No, they're bears. They're little miniature bears. I mean
that's pretty brutal. I mean, they might look like cute little teddy bears, but they'll fuck your ass up.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the funny thing is they were going to eat meat, yet they didn't have any. It didn't look like they had any sharp teeth at all. They looked like the plant.
Maybe they unhinged their jaw or something. We didn't get a chance to see. So
that is insane. We need a new series of Ewoks where they're just unfucking hinged.
I agree, because Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor just did not do it for me.
No, definitely not. No, I mean, Wilford Brimley in that one, I mean, I don't fucking know.
I mean, I fucks with Wilford Brimley because he's in The Thing, and he's fucking dope. And he also looked 65 years old from the time he was like 20. So, and made a career out of it. So that's pretty dope. But not that movie, you know. But yes, I will go down for the brutality of Ewok.
Wasn't he also in Cocoon?
Yeah, he was in Cocoon. That's there was that whole thing where they were showing celebrities past the age of Wilford Brimley in Cocoon. He was 55 years old and he looked ancient. And now there's like 55-year-old celebrities who look eminently fuckable and beautiful.
Yeah, and
so
they look like
Wilford
they're fucking
Brimley
in their
just held a special
30s,
place.
yes.
Yeah. Well, hey, part of that's not having indoor smoking everywhere. So kudos for you for quitting.
Yeah, indoor smoking, or I don't know, just the maybe it's the fucking preservatives in the food even.
Leaded gasoline, just putting lead in the air for like 40 fucking years.
Yeah, exactly. All this
like,
crazy
that was
shit.
Cool. Yeah, because your engine made a little bit of noise. Let's go ahead and poison the air with maddening lead.
And
our forefathers made some interesting choices.
Oh, absolutely. So here we are. You already got the gist of what the Metal Forge is. It's just pretty much a fucking riff fest of
we're riffing
whatever we're going to talk about next, and so on and so forth. So on the Exhumed front, you all put out Beyond the Dead in 2023. By the time this airs, it is just about a year ago. What do you all have coming next? Because you all are in a legacy band at this point.
Yeah, we've had a lot of internal discussions about that because we are. So we did do the last tour. We didn't put anything new out. We went out and played nothing but songs from the first iteration. Like, you know, Exhumed broke up for a time where Matt put on hiatus, and Matt went to figure out what the fuck he wanted to do with his life. And it turned out he wanted to come back and do Exhumed. But so we did songs only from that first 4-year chunk of gore metal and Slaughter Cult and Anatomy is Destiny. Also, great timing. Relapse had just reissued those 3 on vinyl. So we did kind of a retro set, kind of tried to dress retro, a little more spikes and bullet belts, and kind of like, you know, do our own little celebration, and released the documentary that we've been working on for a couple of years. I thought it was like kind of weird and self-serving, but when it got finished, I was very proud of Decayed Decades. I think the directors, Frank and Avinash, did a great job putting that together and put together a story that I enjoyed watching, just about like the history of the band. That was kind of like, I think, relatable to a lot of people. It was like, even if you don't give a fuck about Exhumed, it was just about like a group of a band in the 90s and what that was like, and then, you know, and the tumults that came throughout. I think it's relatable to anybody who's in a band. So you can watch that for free on our YouTube. So that was the last step we took. And then the next step we're taking, we got a couple shows booked, of course. We're very excited to be playing Hawaii coming up in October. That'll be at the Volcanic Strike Fest. And but we have I'll try to keep it as vague as possible. Is we realize as a legacy band, it's like, you know, we could just put out another record, like, you know, it'll just be like number 9 out of however how many, you know, and that's just more songs, just more Exhumed songs. But we're kind of trying to plan something that's maybe a little more multimedia tinged, that can maybe like be more than just a record and more than just music videos. I don't want to get into too much detail because that would be farming too much out. But yeah, we want to keep writing new songs, but kind of want to push the envelope in terms of what a band can accomplish. Because yeah, we are a legacy band, and we can just keep putting out records. We're like we're not like a legacy band like Obituary who gets to go do these crazy fucking tours with the Monomarth and shit. We're one of those nice legacy bands that when there's a big festival, we get the logo instead of the typeset. Instead of the typeset.
Well, I mean,
so it's like.
But still, that means something. You know,
and it's great. We're grateful.
As goofy as this sounds, that in the metal scene in particular is really where this is at. Because metal bands have logos, country musicians have fonts, and you know, but like it's always about the logo. And when you see a band on in the typeface. And you're just like, really? They should have fucking been up there. I would have thought they would have had a logo on this flyer. You know, that's a weird end. I think that's specific to metal.
Yeah, it's lucky. Yeah, it's kind of a weird ranking system. And although the one I really love is that band Party Cannon. I don't know if you know them.
No, I don't.
Like a slam band, but like they'll be like they play a lot of like European festivals and shit, and they'll always be like a bunch of typeset logos, and then the Party Cannon logo is always their logo, which is multicolored and in bubble letters. And I think just bookers are delighted to like have this silly logo. Like,
that's great.
So they always get a logo no matter what, because their logo is so fucking ridiculous. And I did some guest vocals for them a while back, and I definitely appreciate them and the sense of humor that they bring to like the metal scene and just not giving a fuck. Like, their name's Party Cannon. That's great. And their logo's silly. That's great. So yeah, but like Exhumed is like that kind of like we get the logo on the festival flyer, and we're grateful. We can go out and tour on records that we put out 25 years ago and just celebrate that, and people will still come and want to like party with us and have a good time. And that is a very gratifying feeling that we've been able to like kind of forge a place for ourselves, that we don't have to prove ourselves. We can just keep kind of improving ourselves as much as we, feel is necessary.
Right. And in this day and age, there are so many, when you go to play these festivals, there are so many, say like Doro Warlock set at Hell's Heroes this past year, or you have like, old school set only type stuff, which is totally cool. And I think it's a nice selling point, as it were, that it's like, holy shit, they're only going to do songs off of this, which is pretty cool. But one thing you said a minute ago that I want to hit back on was when you were talking about the documentary, you said that it was primarily focused on a band from the 90s. And I think that is interesting because I started my musical venture in the 90s as well. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure yours was before that, but when I know what it was like pre-internet type shit, when you're calling places, when you're not even getting a chance to email, I've sent letters to places hoping to get a call back.
I would spend just about every Saturday night from like 18 to 21 years old, like writing letters and sending out demo tapes and doing that kind of shit. And that's how we organized shows. That's how we did everything. I totally get it.
Right. So with how things are now, what is the biggest thing that you miss from that era? If you could delete its current form and go back to, what would it be?
It was such a miserable time. It's hard. I don't know if I would delete necessarily anything. I think it's, yes, I cut my teeth in that era, and I'm somewhat grateful for it because, I guess it's not even like I would tell people to go back to that, but just like the feeling that it's like you kind of have to work hard. Like you knew you did, because you'd have to just send tapes to everybody. And there are still people who do that. Like, even if like their band's on Bandcamp, they're going out there, they're sending out the emails, they're talking to people, they're doing that kind of shit.
They fulfill the orders themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And they do the work, and they go out and they play the shows. I think there might be maybe now, and I'm not saying this is general, I'm saying this is amongst some people. Oh, well, I put my demo on Bandcamp. Why am I not getting signed yet? I'm a person, and they don't understand that there is a lot of work involved. Whereas when the underground was actually underground and by mail, literally you had to do that work. There was no option.
Sure.
So I think it's not so much that I would want to go back to that. I love that people can put stuff out now. I love going on Bandcamp and checking out. Just like on Twitter, somebody's like, some mutual's like, I got a new project. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go check it out. That's great. It's so awesome. They don't have to spend, you know, $4 to send me a tape that costs $2 that, like, you know, on all this shit, and like going to fucking FedEx Kinko's to like cut your own demo tape. Like, I can just go check it out really quick and really easy. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I wouldn't ever necessarily want to go back. What I would like people to do is maybe just have an appreciation for the work that you need to do. Even now, even though lots of things are easier, you still have to talk to people. You still have to be a social creature. You still need to like get out there and, you know, and find commune and make friends and appreciate other people's bands before they're ever going to appreciate yours. You know, you have to like have that tit for tat kind of thing. Like before, you know, people like, I've had people come up to me and be like, hey, so I made a recording. So how long until we can like open for Exhumed? I'm like, well, what have you done on your own? Have you booked a show? Have you like tried to do anything? Like, you don't just all of a sudden get to like be direct support for the band I'm in that's been around for like nearly like for fucking 35 fucking years. Like, you have to actually put a little effort into this. And
no, you're absolutely right.
Try to get a show booked. So I don't want anything to go back to the way it was, because that was fucking hard and miserable. I'm glad that younger people have the options they do now, and I think it's fucking awesome. So I don't want to go back. I just want to like politely remind people to like look at that yeah, maybe it was a little bit harder then, and maybe you could also put in some more work. I'm not saying everybody. Lots of people do lots of work, but there are some people I've seen where it's just like, I cannot believe the sense of entitlement from just putting up a recording on like Bandcamp, that they think they should all of a sudden be signed to get money. Like, no, you have to do things. You have to become a name. You have to work at this.
Right. And that relates back to, okay, the selling tickets thing.
God, pay to play. Thank God that's gone.
Yeah. We've all been there. Well, I mean, I don't know. Pay to play to me is like what clubs do, where it's like you have to sell X amount or you do not play. Now, if it's just a normal show, it's like, hey, if you want to get paid, you have to sell tickets. You know, I don't know. So
that was a system. Exhumed certainly benefited from it in some degrees. I don't think it was a good system. Certainly wasn't a just system. And it was definitely took advantage of like young kids who were trying to make it. So I would never want to go back to that.
No.
And there's other options. Like last year I went to go see Satan and Night Demon at a bar in Oakland. This is just an example. So I went to go see them at a bar in Oakland. And then I look across the street, and in the city park, there's a fucking hardcore show going on with a generator. And so before going in to see Night Demon and Satan, I was like, well, I got to go check out what these fucking, you know, like everybody looked about like 20 years younger than me, but the bands were like kicking ass. The sound was like, you know, pretty decent for outdoors. Like it was just a PA but these people were just doing it. They said, you know what? Fuck a club. We're going to generator. We're just going to set up this like impromptu show. And it was sick as fuck. And everybody was having fun. There was a huge pit. And then like that was over. And I went to go see like Satan and Night Demon in a proper bar that was booked by an agent and all that kind of shit. So there are like other avenues to like, that are kind of like the pay to play system. Like, yeah, sometimes you got to find a more punk route and, you know, or do it like, you know, basically Black Flag style. You fucking get in the van and you just start calling places and see who will fucking book you.
Sure.
Like an unknown band, there's always room somewhere. Like if it's your first show, there's an opening somewhere where somebody wants to put you on because they just need a slot to fill.
Yeah.
And so you just got to like work on doing that. So fuck pay to play. I hope it never goes back to that ever anywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
We sort of do pay to play now with merch cuts. Kind of interesting. Like you want to play this like big Live Nation owned theater, well, you're going to do merch cuts. So I guess we still take it in some regard, but it's even merch cuts is much more fair than pay to play ever was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's also the thing too is like But also in that Live Nation thing, you've got the fucking tribute band fucking train that runs through. The fucking
Well, I want to get mad about it, but that's not the theater's fault. That's people's fault for not wanting to hear new music. And
I think part of the deal is they get, sorry to interrupt, but I think part of the deal is people who are too stupid to realize that it's not the real band that they're going to see.
I mean, there might be a few people there like that, but I know enough like normies and commune with enough like, you know, people through work or whatever that it's like, yeah, they just want to go see someone cover fucking Blue Oyster Cult, and they could actually go see Blue Oyster Cult if they wanted to.
Sure.
It's all you can do is if you're a music fan and you like hearing new music, all you can really do in protest to that is really try to recommend stuff that you like to people who you think might enjoy it. And as you know, and I do that as a music fan, and it's kind of like, if you're like into metal, that's really, instead of getting angry, why don't you go out and find someone who went to the fucking Journey cover band, but they kind of like Five Finger Death Punch, and maybe like scoot them in a little bit. Like, oh, you like some bullshit like that, like, or you like Imagine Dragons? Well, have you checked out like Slayer, or check out the first couple Metallica records? And then as you ease them into that, then you can be like, okay, well, let's get to like some death and roll from the 90s. Check out Wolverine Blues, and then from Wolverine Blues you can move on to Left Hand Path, right? As like you find people. So instead of like just getting angry on the internet and saying that fucking I don't know, Cannibal Corpse should be at the Super Bowl, that's never going to fucking happen. Stop posting that and just like start finding some people who might like Cannibal Corpse and recommend it to them, and make that show bigger. And
I just still think it's even funny that Metallica hasn't done the Super Bowl.
Who knows? Maybe they've been offered and they said no because they didn't want to do the fucking lip sync, because there's a whole bunch of fucking rules for that.
Yeah, that's true. You can't
true. Beat. So like, you know, like maybe like I can't imagine that they haven't been offered at some point, because they're a fucking huge, like beyond any kind of like hugeness. They're one of those musical groups. So maybe they were offered it, but they had to like do a fucking medley with Beyonce or something.
Oh,
that's
God.
How that shit works.
That would be fucked up.
And they're like, nah, we're
I mean, honestly, though, when you think about it, they've done stuff like that before. They did that with Lady Gaga at the Grammys, and they did that with didn't they do one with Katy Perry at the Grammys one year too, or something?
Lady Gaga, I'd be like okay with. If they did one with Katy Perry, fuck Metallica, because Katy Perry sucks ass. I hate that. I hate her so much.
So, obviously, you know, being in a legacy band, being in multiple legacy bands at this point, with Ghoul as well, and Ghoul's newest release.
I'm not in Ghoul. I do associate with them from time to time. That's what the lawyers say I have to say, so there we go. If you want to know anything about Ghoul, I probably know it, and you can ask away. But legally speaking, I am not in Ghoul.
Okay.
I am impaled as a terms of a
yes. I am sorry, you are not. Cremator is, but
Cremator's. I talk to Cremator a lot. He's a dick, but we do talk a lot. I keep him around because he makes me money sometimes. So
for sure. Sorry about that.
All good. No need to edit. We've covered it.
Okay, then. I was going to say, what was coming up next with that?
Oh, well, Ghoul. I think Ghoul has some tour plans coming up also in October. So, yeah, I think they got some stuff coming up, and I think they're working on a new record instead of just a fucking EP, because they're lazy fucks. But from what I hear from Cremator, he's bitching a lot about having to learn a whole bunch of new songs. So I can only imagine a new record's on the way. I doubt it would come out this year. Probably
sure.
2025.
I mean, it is kind of late in the year for that, anyways.
It is a little, yeah. If they were to try to record now and get it out, that'd be kind of folly. But yeah, man, they're lazy bastards. Their last full length came out in 2016. That's fucking ridiculous.
For sure, and obviously there was the Live in the Flesh live album.
They did. Yeah, there was the live album, the DVD release came out. There was a couple singles, and the Noxious Concoction records seemed very warmly received by people. So they want to kind of know where Ghoul's going. That's probably very much the direction of the next record. So.
Hell yeah. Definitely. So I do like to ask some general profile questions about you as a person. It's kind of ranged on whatever is out there.
That's perfect because I love talking about myself. So
for sure. If everyone spoke their mind, would it be a better place?
You would definitely know who the fucking real assholes are. So yes.
Oh, I totally agree with that. You know, it's an interesting thing when people like say you have siblings and the two siblings talk about either another sibling, but they don't ever mention it or whatever. Yeah, it's just like, I'm of the mind, if it's like, you know what, if it's an issue, fucking take issue and fucking mention it.
Yeah, I believe in, well, okay, so politically, if we're talking about the loftier thing, I believe in freedom of speech, but I don't believe in freedom from consequence of speech. So you want to say some hateful shit, guess what? People are going to fucking hate you. Great. That puts you out of my pool. You don't have to come to my shows. You can fuck off. And if I say something that you take umbrage with, don't come to my fucking shows. I probably don't want you there. If you think it's like, Exhumed donated to like a probation fund to help people, like, convicts get probation during the George Floyd uprisings. We thought the best charitable group to deal with in that situation. And people got mad at us, and I was like, well, you don't have to come to our shows. Like, well, I'm going to give my money to Deicide. I'm like, great. Give Glenn Benton your money. I'm still going to have plenty of people at my shows. Your $20 is not going to be missed. It's fine. Fuck off. That's great. So they can hate me too, and I can hate them. But when it comes to like interpersonal relationships, closer things, like, I believe that you should be, honesty is just the best way forward. In my relationship, we have complete and open honesty. When feelings are hurt, you express them, so that way they can be addressed. And in fact, Exhumed, if you watch the Decade, like, let me go ahead and plug again the Decade Decades documentary. A lot of the first part of the documentary is about some very angry young men who did not know how to express their feelings to each other. And what we learn through the documentary is that we kind of learn how to express those feelings and become friends again and are able to work together again, to the point where I've been back in Exhumed longer now than I was in it before I got kicked out the first time. So that kind of like being able to like touch on things and talk to adults, talking in a quote unquote adult manner with each other, basically a mature manner, and be like, hey, this kind of like chaps my hide a little bit. Let's address it and talk about it. And the other person could be open about that. Be like, well, sure. This is why I think it shouldn't chap your hide, and come to a conclusion and address each other's feelings. And then you can work together, like, say, in a band much better together. So yes, people should absolutely speak their minds and try to get addressed what they need in this life, because otherwise there's going to be miserable sons of bitches who lash out at everybody around them.
Sure. No, I totally agree with that. And, that's the thing is I think most people have to come to realize that, where when you can start to communicate as, whatever, an adult or whatever you want to call it, a person of sound mind, let's just say that, with another person,
yeah,
who is accepting of that's like the chef's kiss thing.
Absolutely. Maybe the right word is evolve. We should speak in an evolved way to each other, because that speaks to the fact that we're exactly the same as we were when we were like cavemen running around savannas and shit. But like, our magical human brains have allowed us to evolve societies and different ways to deal with each other. So let's talk to each other in an evolved way, where we actually listen and express ourselves as we really feel about those things, and take in other people's feelings as well, and try to have some empathy.
For sure. What have you recently read online that has inspired you?
Online specifically?
Yes.
What I mean, mostly what I read online is going to be sci-fi blogs. So those do inspire me in a certain way to try to push my creative boundaries. God, that's a weird, that's a hard question to answer because I'm a fucking Twitter addict and always am reading shit every day.
Oh, I know.
On
I
how
follow
to deal with people.
I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, I mean, what fucking inspires?
You're actually one of my favorite follows on across all platforms.
I mean, sometimes the stuff that inspires me is like odd. It'll be like cynical shit, very cynical stuff. And while I take in the cynicism and can usually like largely agree with it, it will inspire me to like try to be just better in the way I deal with people. And I mean, I guess like I definitely have been more, I guess instead of reading something on the internet, because reading on the internet is kind of trash. I definitely listen to a lot of podcasts about history and science. And that kind of shit inspires me. Like listening to someone, it was an astronomer talking about the James Watt telescope and just like the secrets that was unveiling about the early history of the universe and the mysteries, because there's not scientific consensus on some of the stuff they found with the James Webb telescope. But that was like inspiring to me because I just like I love the earnest what's the word I'm looking for? Losing my words for a second. The earnest, like just questioning and like trying to figure things out. Like it doesn't even matter like where we all came from, because here we are and we last for about 80 to 100 years if you're lucky. But just like trying to figure out these questions about the beginning of the universe. I found that like incredibly inspiring. And I'm not like going out to like find questions about the entire universe, but within my relations, I'm trying to figure out where we all come from in terms of like how we relate to each other. And that's kind of more the milieu of an artist, is to try to like, you know, create something that's like appealing to people, but also speaks to them in a certain way and energizes them in a certain way. And so that's what we try to, you know, with the music, it's like, we're not just like trying to be as grosser than gross. We're trying to make something that's like fun, makes you move, makes you dance, and speaks to like something inside of you that allows you to like kind of put everything away for a second, where we can come together and like make this music together for a second. And I don't know if Exhumed is going to make anybody fucking think, but we do write lyrics, and a lot of them do have meanings beyond the gore. So people can read it what they want, or they can just like party.
Everybody has something to say.
Absolutely, and Exhumed, believe it or not, does too. The Beyond the Dead EP has some fucking. It's got lyrics. It has some stupid lyrics for sure, but it's also got some lyrics about how I feel about Elon Musk, for example. So there's Elon Musk dies on that record. At least in my fantasy world.
For sure.
And his terrible eugenicist fucking techno-fascist ideology dies with him. So, but it's couched in gore because it's fun. So we can still have fun with it. We can still like have a good time.
And that's the thing, you know, is there's people that don't get the satiristic part of it. And those are the ones that are just like the ones that you don't want listening to the music.
Oh, I just realized something that did inspire me that I read online, but it inspired me in a negative, like I would say a negative way. It wasn't like inspiring, like feel good. I read, and I got to look it up again so I can find the name. And I highly suggest anybody else looks this up. Let's see, Peter Thiel. Essay, what was it? It was Straussian movement. So do you know who Peter Thiel is? he helped found PayPal,
Yes.
which was that was a good thing he did. And everything he's done since has been the act of a terrible, dogmatic fascist who wants to control humanity. And he's a horrible, horrible rich person who destroys everything good that he sees and hates individualism, which is funny for someone from the early days of Silicon Valley, since that's like what it espouses. But it doesn't. He wants to crush people. And if you want to read an essay about somebody who's extremely rich, a billionaire rich, trying to crush the will of the people, read Peter Thiel's The Straussian Movement. It's awful. He's a terrible, terrible, the Straussian moment.
Moment, yeah.
He's a terrible person who should be stopped. And Elon Musk is like along the lines with him. Mark Zuckerberg, to a certain extent, is also along those lines. They're all terrible people. And it's worthwhile to look into those things to try to have the veil lifted from your eyes about how the current climate. I love the internet. The internet's beautiful, but you have to go into it with very fine tooth or like a microscope to like see what's trying to like kind of. It's starting to sound like Andrew Tate or some shit. You're not in the Matrix. Andrew Tate's full of shit, but you do need to go in with a knowledge base, knowing that like so how social media is trying to keep you addicted to it and those kinds of things. Like that's absolutely real. And there's a bunch of charlatans on there trying to take advantage of those things. And Peter Thiel is just like one of the most worst people on the planet who has way too much power, and he kind of skirts by because he's not an Elon Musk type celebrity. So that inspired me to further hate Peter Thiel and to further push against his agenda, against individualism and how people should just be fearful all the time in order to keep them in line as fucking puppets of the capitalist system.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm going to read this. It's up on my desktop right now. Got a couple more. First is, it's that time. What is your last meal?
Oh, I was going to say my last meal was a banana. But you mean what is my last meal?
Yes.
I guess that's pretty easy. Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
I know. You'd think I could ask for something lofty. I mean, I love escargot. I like a good souffle. I like all this stuff. But I think the last thing to just like it's just to grow it up in the 70s and the 80s kind of thing.
Sure.
I
know exactly what you're talking about.
It's total garbage. But if I were to go out on the last thing to eat would probably be the first thing I remember eating.
Yeah.
And get back to that like sense of like beautiful innocence of just where my life started and everything I've gone through. And yeah, Kraft mac and cheese. Maybe doctor it up a little bit. Maybe some mushrooms. Maybe I have a thing. I love doing Kraft mac and cheese as an adult. I like to put in black beans and black olives. It's weird. People think I'm crazy, but it's fucking tasty as shit. And you get good protein from the black beans.
Definitely. It almost sounds like you're mixing together like a regular pasta salad with just your macaroni and cheese.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, that would be my last meal. Even if I could only get it plain with just the powder and a little bit of milk and a lot of butter, please. Maybe a little extra butter. In fact, skip the milk. If you want to know the real way to make good Kraft mac and cheese, you skip the milk altogether and just double the butter.
Yes. No, I totally agree with that. I know exactly what you mean. The Kraft macaroni and cheese. I mean, I can tell the difference between like
and Blue Box. Don't try to sell me on this Annie's bullshit. Don't try to get me like that stuff's okay, but it's the right flavor profile for my last meal. It better be Kraft Blue Box. No shapes, just elbows.
Yes.
I'm very
very
particular. I don't want Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in my mouth. We don't need that.
No, definitely not.
I want some fucking elbows. So that's my last meal.
Hell yeah. Totally dig it. As always, links are listed below, so please give a like, share, and a follow. Do all that you can. Support all that you can, of course. when they're on the road, go see them on the road. When they're putting out new music, go do that. Go buy merch. Do all the shit and all the stuff and all the things, right?
Yeah, and if you want to follow me, so we're on as Exhumed Official or Official Exhumed on any platform. Impale doesn't really have a platform. You should follow Ghoul. It's usually Ghoul Official somewhere. And if you want to commune with me about Kraft Blue Box mac and cheese, I do cook a lot better than that usually, but I do got a soft spot for that bullshit. You can follow me most anywhere as Sewage666.
Hell yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to shout out, or anybody else you'd like to shout out, or anything else you'd like to promote?
Go watch Scavenger's Reign on Netflix. It was the best show to come out on HBO. They absolutely tried to bury it. It's a fucking great show.
Fuck
Scavenger's Reign. Beautiful 2D animation, a sci-fi story that's like amazing, and weird body horror and strange alien fauna, like something you wouldn't believe. And I can't believe how people aren't like talking about it more. It could have been one of the greatest franchises of the 21st century, and nobody seems to know about it.
Hell yeah. I don't know about it, so I'm definitely going to check it out as well. So Scavenger's Reign, you say?
Yes, Scavenger's Reign. Absolutely.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. So my final question for the episode today is, what are you avoiding doing because it's hard or scary?
Vasectomy.
I could get that. Yeah.
I'm not even avoiding it. It's just like, I want to get it. It's just like, God, there's so much shit to tee up in the meantime to get there. I ain't having kids. I'm fucking 50. There's like no reason I shouldn't just call my doctor right now, but I gotta like get into psychology. It's just a whole thing. Like masculineness, manliness, all this shit involved in that. So that's the thing that's like kind of, I want to get there. Like I'm getting there. I've talked to my doctor, and it's like looking at I'm like watching the video. Anyways, yeah, I got no reason to breed. Who the fuck am I?
I agree with that statement.
But,
I feel the exact same way.
It does take a little bit of time to get there and get everything, all your ducks, where you feel your ducks are in a row, and like you're like, okay, I'm ready for this. Sure.
No, absolutely. And yeah, it's definitely something that I've considered as well. Again, I'm the same, feel the exact same way. I don't know, I'm not going to have children. Who the fuck am I kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And the best part is like, you can shoot your shot wherever the fuck you want. Like it's all benefit if you're not going to have kids. Like, but it just takes a while to get there. So that's what I wouldn't say I'm putting it off. I'm just saying like, it's just like, it's been a process to try to like get there. That's it.
For sure. No, I totally get it. Dude, thank you so fucking much for coming into the Metal Forge this week. Dr. Ross Sewage from Exhumed, friends with Cremator. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you so much.
On our way out today, on our way out from Exhumed, what do you want to play?
Oh, from Exhumed, let's play.
For 45 years and keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week, located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttatoosandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing. Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street, so either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
As dawn approaches,
Heineken! Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out.
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit Shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.